Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to the newest edition of the Take One Spoilercast. And so, like I said, I have to remind people of the Spoilercast. Now, this is about the movie Get Out, and I will be touching on certain plot points. So, if you didn't get it by the name, this will contain spoilers. So, if you haven't seen this movie, please refer back to my movie review of Get Out, which is up right now. Watch the movie and all that good stuff. And if you have seen it, go ahead and keep listening. Or if you've seen it and you just don't give a damn about spoilers, just go ahead and keep listening. Shit, I'm giving you a warning, and here we go. So this movie, Get Out, was a movie that I really didn't have any high expectations on when I first saw the trailer. You can basically check back to my trailer review on my Take One podcast. Like, I believe it was maybe towards the beginning of this year or towards the end of last year. I gave my thoughts on the trailer, and I wasn't really taken too by the trailer. I wasn't too impressed by it. Thought it gave away a whole bunch of the story and all that stuff. It was just whatever. But after the reviews and all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, maybe this has some gold to it. I saw it and I liked it. I liked it. It wasn't the best. I didn't love it like everyone else did. I wasn't blown away by it. But I guess it is. I guess it is what it is. If you ain't guessed by now by listening to my podcast and movie reviews, that's kind of like my saying. It is what it is. I don't say it on the regular, but I usually I don't know. I just kind of say it on here. But in any case, yeah, it's just I found some enjoyment out of it. I did like it. Way more than what I thought I was gonna like it. I thought I wasn't gonna like it at all. I thought it was just gonna be like garbage, but it ended up being a good piece of movie art, I guess you can call it. But I mean, we're here to talk about spoilers, so let's get right into it. I guess it was a question to where if all of this is set up with the cop that stopped them, and then him trying to get his ID. Now it was like, why would he give them a hard time if in this town they know everything that's happening with like them taking black people and putting their brain or whatever into like black people and stuff like that? It's like, wouldn't he know? Why would he mess with them? So I mean, and I heard that it's more than likely. I mean, I guess you could come up with the whole explanation of like that he was playing that part so that he could see that his girlfriend is really loyal to him, even though she's his girlfriend. So I mean, I guess there is a lot of trust still right there. So why would she need to build more trust with him in that scenario? But I guess it's more of a racial thing, because when he said basically, do your parents know I'm black? And then she was like, no, and all that stuff. I guess it was like they didn't really have to deal with too much of like the whole black-white relationships, intergender type thing or whatever, until kind of now it doesn't really come into play. So when it came to that, I guess he had to see that she has his back when it came to that, even though she is dating the black guy. So there is kind of a thing right there. But in any case, but still, and that brings me to my other question. It's like, why is he bringing that up now? The appearance on black, this and that, and all that stuff. Why wouldn't that have came up? Because you would think that they've been together for a good little minute. That it's been months and all that stuff. So you would think that that question would arise, like, do your parents know I'm black? Even as they dating, like, do your parents know I'm a black guy? That you're dating a black guy? Even though a lot of times you don't think that stuff will, like, come up. That you would sit here and have to ask that question with a white girl that you're dating. But even if that question had to be asked, you would think that it would have to be asked somewhere before he's right about to meet their parents. So that one I didn't get. I guess it's like it was pivotable. I still don't know how to pronounce the word. Pivotable. I guess that's how you pronounce it, to the plot and finding out. But I just felt like this was something that could have been done differently. because it just didn't make no sense for him to ask that question right then and there. But it's whatever. And one of the things that I didn't like about it was the friend at the police station. Now, I know a lot of people were like, love his best friend, and he was a comic relief for the film and all that stuff. I really didn't. I wasn't too impressed by it. Like, I felt like if they would have took him out the movie, it would have made the movie less or more. I mean, it basically would have still kind of been the same. I mean, of course, with movies like this, you kind of need that comic relief. You need to do that. But I felt like they gave him more screen time than what he needed, especially with the whole police scene, with him going to the police station and telling the police about his friend and all this stuff. And then it's like they start laughing at him, and it's just like, okay, why do we need this scene? It just seemed kind of forced. Like, we just didn't need that comical scene. It would have been just fine with him talking to the friend and all this stuff, and just saying all this. But it just seemed like they just kind of overused that, and that was a scene that was more than likely meant for like a comedy, not a horror-esque, psychological thriller, type movie. I guess you could call it that. I say that in my movie review. It's somewhat of a psychological thriller, but I mean, it's more of just like a regular thriller kind of horror or whatever. But in any case, it just really wasn't needed. I didn't find any kind of enjoyment out of it. It was just okay, yeah. But then it kind of got me thinking with the grandparents. So the grandparents are in the maid and the gardener. I guess that's what he is. Why are they having them do that? I guess it's just to put on a show, just like with the cop. But to have your grandparents put in new bodies and have them as the maid and have them as the gardener, it's like that seemed kind of like forced. You literally could have had them as like, I guess friends of the family or something like that, to make it seem like, oh, well, we're cool with like black people and this and that. They're a married couple and blah blah blah. And they come by and or we have like this family, this husband and wife staying with us and we're helping them out. It could have been a whole different other thing, but they chose to go with the whole gardener and maid thing. It was like, why? I know the grandparents is like, okay, we're your parent. Why the fuck will we work for you? Even if it's just a show, it's like you literally still have to do that. Do like real stuff. You really have to cook for them. You really have to clean up after them. You really have to do this and do that and actually play that role. I guess it is that serious, but damn, like that just seems kind of like weird and whatever. And it was just, and the guy in the beginning, like right at the beginning scene, the guy that later on was like, get out, and grabbed the main character, Chris. I can't forget their name because yes, my name. But in any case, it's like, why didn't he get turned the same way? It's like his whole thing was he was walking trying to find a house, more than likely the girl's house, and basically he ends up getting kidnapped from there. It's like, how come he didn't get invited like Chris did and get basically turned that way? Like, I don't understand it. Like, because I thought it was a whole manipulation of like the teacup. I thought it was like preparation. Maybe it was just, they sit in front of the TV and then the teacup and bam, bam. But I thought it was something to do it because he said something about the guy at the end when Chris was like basically getting all the information given to him. It was like he told them that it was like in steps. This happened, that happened, blah blah. And I thought it has to happen gradually. But if you think about how that happened in the beginning, it more than likely seemed like they went straight to it. Like they grabbed him up, put him in a chair, and did everything and blah blah, and preparated him for the surgery and stuff. So it's like I thought that they had to do a whole bunch of stuff. It seemed like they had a plan with, the girlfriend invites him to the house, and then he meets the parents and everybody else, and then they have the auction, and then it goes like that. I thought that was their process, but it seemed like it was something totally different with the guy in the beginning. So I wonder, why was that different? Because if it was just to build up a beginning scene to show something where it's like, what the fuck? Like, why? What is this? It just seemed like it was uncalled for as force. Just like the whole comedy, the police station scene. It could have been done differently. Like, I don't understand it. But I mean, I don't see. Well, I mean, I guess in a sense, if it was done the same way, and they gave that at the beginning, then it would have gave away the ending. But there is certain ways that you can do it, so I don't know. But in any case, I'm just basically just pointing out stuff. We call it a nitpick or whatever, but this didn't make sense. And then the auction scene. The auction scene didn't make any sense. So Chris and his girlfriend leave because he's like, he wants to go and all this stuff, and they go in the woods. And then they out in the openly in the backyard do the auction. I know it wasn't like loud where it was like, you for Chris, you 10,000 for Chris, oh 20,000 for Chris, and nothing like that. It wasn't loud, but in the same sense, you're doing literally this out in the open with his picture right there, and anybody walking into this can see that this is a fucking auction. Now I get like they can overpower him, take him down, but still in the same sense they risk the thing of him coming in and finding out. Now it was kind of unpredictable. Yeah, he went like she was like, "Come on, let's take a walk" or whatever. So it was like she was leading him away from there, and I'm gonna get to that where I kind of got my idea of that she was the one that was like responsible, or she was a part of it, just from that scene right there. But in any case, she leads him off into the woods. They talk. Now, what happens if they wasn't talking for that long? What if he felt like, okay, well, you know what, you're right, let's go back, and this and that, and then he just ended up walking back? She can't physically stop him. She can try to, but if he wants to go back and get his stuff, like, what if they got into an argument and he was pissed, and he's just like, fuck it, I'm about to go, this and that, and he was just storming out, just and and he ended up coming upon the auction. It just seemed like that was too out in the open, and it could have been discovered if things went differently or whatever. And it was like, yeah, that I don't know. It seemed like that scene was done again for just the shock value of just the viewer, and that's what a lot of scenes in this movie seem like. That's what it was. And also, like I said, what I alluded to just now, with the whole thing of her leading him into the woods. Ever since that scene, I'm like, she's a part of it, because it just seemed too coincidental that she is the one that suggested them go out and walk into the woods, and then she's keeping him out there talking blah blah while they're doing the auction. There is no way that she could have did that right then and there, and they did the auction like that, because if she didn't know. If say she didn't know and her parents was doing this without her, knowing, it just seemed it seems more of a high risk, because then they more than likely could have came back and interrupted the auction and then, whatever. But yeah, that's when I found out, that's when I kind of figured that she was a part of this, and I ended up being right. I'm like, yo, this is kind of like blatant. Like, you could have did this a little bit more secretive, a more like in your face, but you don't know. But it was just really too predictable. And just also the ending scene. Like, I'm not going to give it all just bad things about it, but this is just a lot of stuff that bothered me about it. But I did like the whole cotton scene. It kind of like, after I saw it, it kind of like, I guess you could say, has significance, where he used the cotton to put in his ears or whatever. And like back in the day, slavery, like blacks, we used to pick cotton. So I mean, I guess it has some symbolism, which I guess is the same thing. I got some symbolic meaning with the whole cotton thing. And one thing that I don't like is like I said before, and I will say it time and time again, is when characters do things to push the plot along that are stupid. And this is mainly happening in horror films. And it's like the whole thing with not finishing the job with the killer. If you knock a killer down that's chasing you and they are kind of like laid out for a good little minute, why not continue to kill the killer, especially if they can be killed? Why not continue? Why hit them, knock them down, and run away? That seems so stupid. If someone is killing me, or not killing me, but if someone is trying to kill me and I get the upper hand and knocking them down, and I still have the upper hand, or literally I can either run or bash their brains in, I'm going to bash their brains in, especially if they're trying to kill me. So, the whole thing with him attacking the brother and just not finishing the job, it just, you kind of knew that he was going to come back. And that was another predictable part of it. And then just the way he was acting with the whole killing. Now, I know I had somebody argue with me like, oh, anybody would act like that. It was reasonable, this and that. But this guy, who more than likely never killed anybody in his life, probably never seen anybody murdered or dead body or anything like that, like for real, as far as the character go, he seemed too comfortable with just killing people. He didn't show any emotion. It just seemed like he became superhuman. Even when he got stabbed in the hand by the wife, by the mother or whatever, it's just like, literally, you not about to sit there and not feel it. And then later on, it's like it doesn't affect him after that. It's just, it seemed uncharacteristic, like for him to just snap like that and just become a cold hard killer. Just bam, you dead. Bam, I'm gonna kill you. You dead. And this and that. It's like, come on, you got to give him more of a struggle. I mean, they did kind of give him more of a struggle, but he wasn't really. He didn't have no type of like where it was like, what? How can I say it? It just seemed like he just turned into Michael Myers all of a sudden. He wasn't Chris anymore. And you would think somebody in that position would probably be like sneaking around like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here, this and that. And it's just like, I get like, it's fight or flight. You're fighting for your life. You trying to get the fuck up out of here. But in the same sense, it's like, shit, you're not about to become a superhero. Guarantee, if I'm sitting here trying to kill somebody stab me in the hand and I see it, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? I'm going to try and rip it out, and it's going to be some type of struggle, but it just seemed too uncharacteristic of his character in the movie to do something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I agree with the killings and stuff, but just how he was acting when he was doing it, it just didn't, whatever. And then, what else? I got one more thing. Yeah, and just the whole thing with the daughter at the end when she's up in the room eating Fruit Loops and drinking milk out of a straw through another cup. And just how she didn't hear all that racket in the house. In the house. I mind you, she did not hear none of that in the house with headphones on. But yet, somebody gets hit by a car and she hears that outside. That just didn't make any sense. It really didn't. She didn't. When somebody get hit by a car, somebody got hit by a car, and she hears that. So it's like you would think that somebody would hear some boom, 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 even with headphones, inside the crib where you're at, the house where you're at, and you hear something outside. What? No, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. But overall, even though I have a lot of these gripes, more than likely if I saw this movie again, I have a lot more questions. But I mean, this movie, like I said, it doesn't deserve a 9. It didn't deserve 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, nor does it deserve a 99%. It does. I say maybe at the highest, maybe 90%. This movie was really good. Like I said, it exceeded my expectations because I really didn't have any high expectations for it. But I mean, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It was a good debut movie for Jordan Peele, and I'm happy for him. He's a minority, black, and he's doing his thing. Like, he got a lot of recognition from it, and hopefully he does a lot of amazing things, and hopefully he's opened the door for more black directors, maybe young black directors or whatever, to come into the forefront and actually make good quality films. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about this movie. I enjoyed it, though all of my negative, what seemed like a negative spoiler review that I had. I did enjoy a lot of the film. I did enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, when it came to it, this movie had a lot of problems, and that was just my whole gripes with it. But in any case, that wraps up this edition of the Take One Spoilercast of the movie Get Out. I like to thank you guys for listening, and check in on everything else that I'm doing, like the mini reviews, quick takes, movie reviews, podcasts, and all that stuff, and the other spoilercasts that I get, and all the new stuff that I'm going to be putting up on my channel. And with that said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.